I'm Britton Glennet, and welcome to China Insight, where we discuss the latest issues affecting this rapidly changing country. For many parents, choosing a school is hard enough, but arguably the decision becomes even more crucial if your child has autism or a disruptive behavioural disorder. So what do you do? Send them to a normal school so that they can integrate with other children, or will they receive more attention in a special school? To help me discuss the pros and cons of each is Professor Zhang Wei from the Peking University's Guanghua School of Management. Welcome to the program.
Great pleasure to be here.
Could you first explain to us what are the signs that a child has autism?
Well, as the children become insensitive to the outside environment, they somehow live in their own world. I think autism is a clear defined clinical condition, and its prevalence has been rising all over the world in the past few decades. It brings a great of suffering to the family, particularly to the parents who worry about their education, their well-being, and also the children's life after the end of the parents' life.
Okay, well, you talked about some of the struggles that the parents might face. China Insight investigated the issue a little further to see exactly the difficulties that kids with autism and their parents struggle with. Let's take a look.
This is 5-year-old Xiang Qian. He has autism. Games like this are good for his muscular and communication development. His parents enrolled him in a kindergarten a few months ago. Recently, however, the kindergarten advised them to keep Xiang Qian at home, citing complaints from some parents about him biting his classmates. Xiang Qian's mother apologized to the parents of the affected children. The kindergarten then held a parents' meeting to resolve the issue. The majority of parents were in support of Xiang Qian returning, but a few could not be won over. They said that if Xiang Qian was readmitted, they'd move their children to another kindergarten. So Xiang Qian has to stay at home.
有时候真的挺无助的，能够接纳我们孩子的这种环境，这就是靠我个人努力，收效会很微乎其微。只能说是希望这会给予这种孩子更多的一个接纳吧，更多的包容。
Since then, there has been a positive development. The kindergarten, after consulting an autism specialist, set up a resource room just for Xiang Qian. A specially trained teacher now gives him lessons and accompanies him during collective lessons and activities. Xiang Qian's right to an inclusive education is guaranteed both by the UN and by the central government. In 1994, the Ministry of Education issued guidelines to schools and preschools stating that they could not refuse to admit a child because he or she had special needs. Schools were told they should make reasonable provisions, for example, individual helpers and special classrooms dedicated to the child's specific needs. However, most schools do not yet have such reasonable provisions in place. So it's often argued that autistic children would probably be better off in special schools. Some, though, feel that such a one-size-fits-all solution is not good enough.
重度的自闭症孩子呢，我也提倡他们在特殊学校里面学习。但是呢，中度跟特别是轻度的，我们讲的高功能的自闭症孩子呢，我们还是认为他们应该进入融合教育。
According to a UNESCO study, children with special needs statistically perform much better in mainstream schools than in special schools. But parents of such children find persuading overstretched schools to admit their children is very difficult. Some do manage it though. This is Kang Kang. He has autism. When he was younger, he often got into trouble. Now though, he's much better behaved and quite independent. His mother says a major reason for Kang Kang's progress is his former primary school principal. The principal says that after she made the decision to admit Kang Kang, she spoke to the teachers. She said to them, "Imagine Kang Kang was your own child. What kind of teacher would you want for him?" And when it came to telling Kang Kang's classmates about his arrival, things were even easier.
孩子很简单，不要想得特别复杂。我就讲，康康是你的小弟弟，他病了，他就知道康康需要大家去关爱。
During his 6 years at primary school, his classmates looked out for him. Yang Jinquan was one of those classmates, and now he and Kang Kang are at middle school together.
进了，又进了，第几个了？第7个了。
特别憨厚、特别淳朴的一个孩子，他所有的对康康的那些，你都能感觉他是发自内心，他不是装的。杨金泉吧，康康他这个在新的这个就是初中生活，他就过渡的比较顺利，他有一个安全感，有一个依赖，
Dairong is from Guangzhou. She has a son who, like Kang Kang, has autism. She and other parents in her situation sometimes hear of cases like Kang Kang's principal. But their experience is that in most cases, parents have to take matters into their own hands.
有些学校他可能会因为有爱心或者同情你把他收下来，但是我觉得这个不是一个常态化的。这孩子应该有受教育的权利，必须要去推动教育局去跟他说。
Dairong and some other parents of children with special needs have come up with a model of supervised education for schools to help persuade them to admit children with special needs. Several schools are already supporting it. 13-year-old Sen here, a pupil at Lucui Middle School in Guangzhou, is one of the beneficiaries. He attends simple classes like pottery together with his classmates. Then when they have more complex lessons, like advanced biology, Sen goes to a special support room with his assistant.
好，我们来读一下。
The success of the scheme has persuaded the local education bureau to get on board. They've launched a pilot scheme at 20 schools and promised 400,000 yuan for teacher training. Dairong and many parents of children with special needs hope this scheme will be expanded across the country. But for that to happen, the central government may well need to allocate some additional funding.
So I think it's fair enough for the Ministry of Education to say, right, you must admit these kids into your schools. But are these schools properly equipped to support these kids?
I think for the central government, it is fair for them to issue a policy that says children with special needs should be included. But in China environment, as China moves very fast, lots of this responsibility actually falls in the local government. And more importantly, this responsibility of implementation falls on the local schools, in the principals as we see in the video. My concern is now Chinese education system is dominated by public institutions. They can do a great job of mass education, but the public institutions all over the world are not well known to be flexible or to be efficient in offering tailor-made solutions. So my point on this is there's a huge market need here. And the
for private schools.
For private schools or for public-private partnership to make things happen. I admire all the great job of public institutions, but they are not really that efficient in meeting various, diverse, tailor-made solutions.
Well, Kang Kang had quite a good situation there where he had a friend looking out for him and he had peers who cared for him in a sense. But kids can be cruel.
Yeah.
And I'd like to know to what extent bullying is a factor and if there is a comprehensive anti-bullying kind of campaign or strategy across China.
I think this comes to a fundamental principle of the education. This is not for them to show sympathy to the children with special need. The education is also benefit everyone in the school. You know, treating a one with special need, show your compassion, show your empathy, show your support. If bullying happens or if bullying becomes prevalent, I think in general the education fails. regardless of the academic achievement.
Because the long-term damage is so severe.
Yes. So I think having an inclusion model in the school can actually provide an unparalleled opportunity to teach the normal kids how to live with people with special needs and how to make themselves part of the support rather than part of the problems.
Right.
I think for that, I'm really supporting the inclusion model. But I do admit that the resources would be a constraint because people would argue, why give these special kids more resources when we're not doing that great in general?
Right, which is why you sort of believe that private school education might be the way to go.
Yes, and not only private education, I mean, insurance company can play a significant role in here as well. Because I think from science perspective, we don't know why autism happens, which means each one of us has a chance of having a kid with autism. So for an insurance perspective, I think they are happy, Chinese insurance would be happy to offer an innovative product. We pay a premium to cover autism or maybe other disease. If this disease condition really happens, the fund that we put together can be used to offer education, other resources support. I think if we open the door, Chinese company can find a solution in solving the problem of the resources. And meanwhile, it also means creating economic progress and also creating jobs.
Okay, well, some of these issues also turn up in our next segment, which is about kids with behavioural problems. Let's first take a quick break. More on the topic when we come back. Welcome back. I'm with Professor Zhang Wei from Peking University. We've been talking about kids with autism and how best to ensure they receive an education. But the same dilemma can apply to kids who are disruptive at school and develop behavioural problems. I want to ask you how kids develop behavioural problems to begin with, in your view.
I think parents is a huge factor. When parents are very busy, when parents' attention is inadequate, kids can capture the signal pretty fast. So I think I wouldn't say all, but for most of the cases, parents' attention or parents' adequate attention should be a factor in this.
How much of it is also about the attention they receive at school?
Sometimes it's inattention or too much attention.
That's
I think
interesting.
it's like all the attention have a seed. You know, for the young kids, it's like they're standing in the middle of this stage. Wherever they want to go, they are searching for lights. If we give them too much lights in the wrong direction, we have to hold ourselves accountable for the result.
Okay, that's an interesting point. Can you expand on too much attention, though?
Too much attention means, you know, many Chinese kids are the only kid in the family. They have 2 parents, 4 grandparents. All of them want to show their love. All of them want to make the kids happy. Sometimes excessive attention or excessive love can mean spoilment. You know, in China we have the term little emperor.
Little emperors, right.
Little emperor, little empress. This is really a literally correct interpretation of how kids are doing.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if the two-child policy will have an effect on that.
Yes, let's hope it's not 2 emperors.
Yeah, 2 emperors would be a problem, double trouble.
Will be a big problem.
Okay, well, we're going to go into the following report, which looks at schools especially aimed at providing an education to kids with behavioural problems. Let's take a look. It's a regular school day, but Jia Shuang isn't in class. 3 months ago, the 12-year-old was caught beating up another student at school. His father was summoned and immediately took him home.
他叫我自己管，你把他管好啊。带回家里边来。哎。哦。
Jia Shuang had a history of bad behaviour, and for his teachers, it was the final straw.
不管老师怎么教育他，他好像没有一点改样的，就是不会改。但是家长那方面，家长就会来说，你班上有这样的学生，我的孩子在你班上，我觉得很危险，我很担心我的小孩就是受到他的攻击。
Under pressure from the other parents, the school decided to suspend Jia Shuang. Jia Shuang is one of hundreds of children in Fencheng City who are excluded from school each year. However, outside the regular education system, the future is grim for these kids. Some will even get into trouble with the police. The fact is, once excluded from one school, a child will struggle to be accepted by another. Recognising the serious problem this created, several years ago, local officials set up the Sunshine School. The school caters to kids with behavioural problems by employing specially trained teachers and following a unique, broader curriculum.
设置着一个这样的办学理念，就是低难度，诱导式的进行教学。也就是说，我们是文化上低难度，主要是进行一个行为矫正。
What this means in practice is that, as well as regular lessons, students receive counselling and military training, as well as courses, familiarising them with the law.
必须要有一个军事教官来带领他们去进行那个军事训练，通过这样一个军事训练呢，矫正他们平时一些这种行为上的一些问题，让他们真真正正的踏上这个正常的一个道路，回归到学生的状态。 因为他们在学校已经基本上没有学生样了，再到这里慢慢的改变成一个学生。
To ensure that every student receives the attention they need, classroom sizes are kept small. The teachers, believing they have a responsibility to give these kids a proper education, often spend long hours with them.
我留下来的目的，跟他们一起搞搞活动啊，一起聊聊天呐，最起码。 学生看到这样的老师的时候呢，他会把这个所有的包袱都放下，而且呢，非常愿意跟老师亲近。我这个留下来的，我就不是老师了。我在课堂上也跟学生讲，我在课堂上是老师，在操场上的教官，然后我下了课堂，下了操场，我就是你们的朋友。
This emphasis on friendship, special care and respect plays a key role in boosting their self-confidence. Indeed, many of the 500 students say their experience at their former schools would have been different if their teachers' attitude had been like this.
原先的老师又不会和我们这些学生谈心，什么？你这些差学生还是和你谈心，谈什么心？理都不理，就是这样。
那你都想了什么招啊？就故意跟老师对着干？
上课认输，那个吵架，打着玩，扔粉笔到那个讲台上也做过。就是那个老师，就是说了一句很难听的话，要我滚到后面去。我因为那个“滚”字，心里就打了一个结。就慢慢的，你要我做什么事，我就不做，我就要和你对着来。
上课就跟同学打着玩嘛，开玩笑嘛，或者故意捣乱，那老师竟然瞪了我一眼，就没有了。 就这样，
那你还希望有什么效果呀？老师瞪你一眼还不够。
当时觉得老师不发火，就觉得自己没什么存在感嘛，就希望老师发火。
那为什么追求这种存在感呢？
我看见他管什么成绩好的学生管得很严，像管我这样的人基本上很少管，感觉心里很不舒服，所以我就是要给你找麻烦。一开始我是故意给老师惹麻烦的嘛，后面是自己控制不住自己，脾气上来了，什么事都不管的。
If it's the case that students who don't perform well at school are more inclined to cause trouble during class, why do teachers neglect them to begin with?
我们国家提倡要素质教育，但是呢，可能呢步伐还是比较慢一点。还是可能呢，在某一方面呢，忽略这些稍微成绩稍微差一点的孩子，因为我们有的时候确确实实要进行的评比哦，文化成绩评比哦，其他方方面面的评比哦，这些孩子肯定会拉后腿，那我们只有把他扔下来，这样的，也就是说我们顾不了那么多，我们只能放弃这些孩子。
Lai Rongyan says she adopts a different attitude and never lets kids feel ignored. She says that the Sunshine School, as its name suggests, gives students warmth they never previously received and offers them a ray of hope. The school also doesn't apply pressure on students to choose a particular academic path after they leave.
孩子愿意留下来接受我们学校的职业教育、技能培养，可以。孩子也可以参加我们市的那个普通高中高考，也可以，也可以你自己去找出路。这3大块，也就是说，我们也是让孩子自愿的，不约束他们。
Most of the students take the path of vocational education.
将来打算干什么？
就是能操控这机床嘛。
现在学这个数控，你自己感兴趣吗？觉得？
还可以，数控机床嘛，我不会学得很烦，像别的东西我会学得很烦，就不想学了。但是这数控机床我就不会。
Over the years, the Sunshine School has become a household name among parents desperate for their kids to get back on the right track. And now that Chen Jiashuang is a student, his parents are hoping the Sunshine School will brighten up their son's prospects for the future.
So I wonder if you think that the Sunshine School and schools like it are a good idea. Surely in some ways it might isolate these kids and probably restrict their opportunities in the future?
I think it fills a gap in the education system. That's what makes this school truly great. Second is, when the current system is not fast enough in changing, this school demonstrates that as educator, we could be flexible. We could meet the needs of this particular group of kids. I think, to me, I'm very much moved in that it demonstrates the soul of the education, which is, you give me whatever kids, I'll try to make them better. I think it's very noble of them to do this.
Right, because it's not just, like you said, disseminating information, it's about being a mentor, offering some kind of guidance as well.
Exactly. I think in China, 20 years ago, education is a privilege, you know, because knowledge is really a pathway to success, or at least to college entrance exam. But now it's getting into college is not that much challenging, and the education is more about competence. When we talk about competence, character, you know, there are lots of issues, not just the knowledge, not just the books.
Being prepared to work in a team, being prepared to work in the real world.
Therefore, the role of teacher needs to be redefined. In the past, the teacher is respected for having knowledge, sometimes having exclusive access to knowledge. But now, teacher need to be respected for being a role model, being a mentor.
We talked earlier about how perhaps the one-child policy may have created kids who may be more susceptible to behavioural problems. I wonder about left-behind children, that is, parents whose kids are, perhaps they're working in the city, their kids are back home with their parents, somewhere in the provinces. I wonder if this kind of situation might breed the same issue.
The reason behind this is economic. Migrant workers, they have to balance whether to spend time with their kids or to make some money.
Right, and often they only see them once a year, right?
Yes, once a year, sometimes even less once a year. They just spend the time with their grandparents who are also aging very fast. A government is pushing for urbanization, which means getting more people not just working in the city, but actually living in the city. You know, enjoying the privilege of an urban citizen instead of just a migrant worker. When they live in the city and they feel city is their home, the children can stay with them. Some of the issue can be resolved.
Okay, well, we're going to take another break. When we come back, we'll ask people in Beijing to wade in. Welcome back. I'm with Peking University Professor Zhang Wei, and we've been looking into whether or not kids with autism or behavioural problems should be taught in separate schools. Well, China Insight asked Beijingers whether they had classmates who behaved badly and how their teachers reacted. Let's have a look.
会管教啊，会苦口婆心的告诉要好好学习，不要调皮捣蛋。
讲一些小笑话，慢慢的逗逗，基本上都能绑过来。
一般就是那个叫一边去，然后谈谈什么的，要不然实在不行就请家长，然后聊聊，也就这样。
就是叫那些调皮的孩子，比如说当班长，用这些方法来教育他们，就把他们当一个好学生来对待他们，可能这样起到效果会好一些吧。
可能是逐步的会向学生本身为主体这种教育方式来进行转变，更加依重学生本身的这种自身的这种特性来进行转变，而不是说整个工业化生产那种是一个模子刻画出来的。
It's an interesting point, that last one, isn't it? What do you think?
I think the mass production of industrialized students is the history. Now I think if we have to admit each one is unique. In the past, we don't think we have the capability to offer a unique education experience to the kid. In the past, just impossible. Now, thanks to internet or the new technology, it's becoming closer to reality. When we look at these young children, when we look at their behavior in some of the extra curriculum activity, like a painting, drawing, or even math camp, they demonstrate great curiosity. They demonstrate fabulous behavior. All of a sudden, they look very different from the kids in a regular school. Extracurricular activity, they are offered by business people. They are offered by mostly
separate companies,
startups, and they have to make the experience terrific. Otherwise, the parents and the kids would just leave. So I think it shows with the current technology, with the current resources, it's doable. But the challenge is how do we integrate this entrepreneur experience of new education model into the existing mass scale education system.
So to include kids with autism and those with behavioral problems?
Yeah. In my opinion, I don't think a standard public institution can meet all these needs. They have to work together with business people or business institution to play a complementary role. To provide a unique yet integrated but stimulating experience to the kids.
And so that they have fun.
Yeah, have fun. That's good news for everyone.
Exactly. Okay, well, that's all we have time for today. Thank you very much for coming on the program, Zhengwei, as usual. Very interesting. If you have any comments or questions, email us at chinainsight@cctv.com, or you can find us on Facebook, Weibo, and WeChat. And we'll see you next time for more stories and discussion on China out of China. Goodbye.